20,000 pharmacies, including Walmart, Rite Aid, and Walgreens, and it works whether you have insurance or not. It's easy to save. Next time you drop off your prescription, check GoodRx. To start saving today, go to GoodRx.com. GoodRx is not insurance.
A man accused of bringing loaded guns inside the Wisconsin state capitol is booked again and facing new charges.
43-year-old Joshua Pleasnick arrested 2 weeks ago and charged with a misdemeanor count of carrying a concealed weapon when police say he entered the Wisconsin state capitol demanding to speak to Governor Tony Evers. Pleasnick posted bail and returned to the capitol hours later with another concealed weapon, later taken into protective custody and transported to a hospital. The latest arrest stems from the second firearms offense. Pleasnick doesn't have a concealed carry permit and guns aren't allowed in government buildings. Pleasnick has said he wanted to speak to the governor about men who've been abused by women, but who don't receive any help. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
A woman arrested after she stood up at former President Trump's New York fraud trial and walked toward the front of the courtroom where he was sitting. The woman, later identified as a court employee, was charged with contempt of court for disrupting a court proceeding. A court spokesman says the woman had been yelling out to Trump that she wanted to help. The reporters in the room did not hear her raise her voice. The trial continued after she was removed. United Airlines announces a plan to speed up boarding times.
United passengers in economy class with window seats will start boarding first, then middle, then aisle, starting next Thursday. Customers sharing a reservation like families board together if someone has a window seat. United says in testing, the new grouping saves up to 2 minutes of boarding time. The usual people get to board before anyone. Travelers with business or first class tickets, elite status with United, active military or disabled passengers, passengers with toddlers and unaccompanied minors, passengers with the cheapest tickets, basic economy, get on last. Chris Foster, Fox News.
NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell has gotten a long-expected contract extension for another 3 years. His current contract was set to expire next spring. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brandon Taylor. I am the chairman of the Lawrence County Republican Party, and I want to welcome you to another hour, the fastest moving hour on radio, with the Lawrence County Republican Party radio show. And across the table from me, I have my good friend, Mr. Lawrence Sutton, who is the secretary of the Lawrence County Republican Party. And also got a couple of special guests in with us, live in studio. Live action, guys. That's right. So we have Bo Gill, and he is the chairman of the Bedford County Republican Party. Welcome, Bo. Nice to have you here.
Glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And to his right, I have Mr. Eric Maddox. He is a county commissioner for Bedford County. Welcome, Eric.
It's great to be here, guys. I appreciate the opportunity, and it was a beautiful drive coming over. Not only a beautiful drive, but a beautiful lunch we had at Strikers.
That's right.
The Bedford County boys.
Shout out to Strikers.
Yeah, we've already got the shout out to Strikers, but it was wonderful. We just thank you and appreciate the invite and to come here and just talk.
Yeah. So we're working toward getting the county parties together and working toward getting all Tennessee conservatives to come together. That's really our ultimate goal, is to get anyone who believes in the conservative ideology and want to see our ideas forwarded, biblical based. A lot of times we even say we're going to be biblically correct, not politically correct. And we want to see that move forward. Lawrence, what do you got going on this week, buddy?
Not much. Just trying to stay out of trouble if that's possible. I mean, it's amazing that how fast these radio programs go, and I mean, it's just as soon as you stop, it just is over.
So, are you staying out of trouble? Is that what you said? You're not committing to that, are you?
No, I stay into trouble.
I believe if he's talking the truth, and sometimes the truth gets you in trouble with certain people.
See, like this shirt, everybody can see.
It is.
I've been wanting to wear this shirt for about 2 years now. Finally lost enough weight I can wear it. And it says "Truth, the new hate speech."
Yeah, and there's a lot of truth to that shirt.
That's correct.
I'm glad you wear it. It fits you well, all right, in more ways than one.
Yeah, so does the shirt make me look fat?
No, it does not.
No, it's just the fat that makes me look fat.
Yeah, that's true. And
second, you got a second over there.
And the truth makes you sound hateful, so we'll keep moving. But I want to make a quick announcement. Our next Republican Party meeting is going to be on October 24th, 6 p.m. at the Lawrence County Courthouse. And Mr. Bo Gill, you're going to be our guest speaker. And
yes, I am.
Looking forward to having you come out. Hopefully, you could drag Eric along on that trip as well. Maybe
I might be able to drag a few.
Yeah.
I think for the opportunity, and I just look forward to meeting the people of Lawrence County.
Yep.
We're we're just down the road. It's a little bit of a drive, but we're all the same. We've got the same concerns, and we just love our state and we love our counties, and it's so good to have brothers and sisters here, even a few counties away, that we're able to come visit and just to get to know. So.
Absolutely. And I actually had a chance to be in one of your meetings the other day, and I really appreciated it.
You did.
So what's going on in Bedford County, guys? Bo, give us a quick update of what's happening with the Republican Party there.
Well, the Republican Party is, we are moving forward. We're growing. I would say in the last year we've grown with several new faces. There's good attendance there. We did have in the summer, we had an appreciation for the SROs
Awesome.
that stepped up for after the shooting in Nashville. There was all of the elementary schools were covered, and the city police stepped up actually to provide some of that. And we said, hey, we got to say thank you to these guys.
Yeah.
So we gave them a little gift, and we had a ceremony for them, and it was really big. You know, the Republican Party, as I'm chairman, you know, that is important to us. Our police, our safety, our fire, our rescue, it should be our number one. A safe community.
Yes.
To say is where you want to be.
Amen.
And we have that in Bedford County, and we wanted to say thank you for these guys that stepped up. We've got that going on. We had a Reagan Day dinner in the fall. It was a success. We had Catherine Austin Fitz as our guest speaker. She is a well-rounded. She was a part of actually the Bush administration back in the days, and she's a big advocate for using cash. So it was really good to hear her. But the Bedford County Republican Party overall is in healthy shape, but you know there's still some division in there, and you know I think it's a struggle that I'm noticing that's happening in most counties, if not the state and the national.
Sure.
And that's you've got rhinos, so to speak, and then you've got your conservative Christian, you know. You can call them extreme right, but I just like to say I just love my country and my state and the Constitution, and you know we hang our hat on that. And sometimes that tends to go the wrong way when the truth comes out.
Sure.
So I do need to get one of those shirts, by the way.
You're in good company here tonight. I can promise you that.
But you know when we have good representatives that want to represent the people the right way.
Right.
This man sitting to my right, he's one of them. He's as real deal as it comes.
Thank you, Bob.
And he started right out of the gate.
Yeah.
It's something he didn't want to do, and I'll let him speak for himself, but it's something his heart led him to do. And that's Eric Maddox, and he's been just a blessing for Bedford County. And I'm not the only one to say that. He's got a lot of fans there. So
what's going on,
I
Eric?
appreciate that.
I named him. I nicknamed him. I'm gonna say it on the radio.
Here we
We're
go.
gonna get it started
Here we
right
go.
here. It's Eric Mad Dog Maddox.
Hey, there we go.
you heard it here first.
He is a true conservative. He is
Yes.
definitely not a Republican in name only.
No.
He's actually one of the guys that gives the Republicans a true name of being conservative party. And glad you're in here with us, Eric. Good friend of mine.
Hey, I appreciate it.
And so what's going on with the county and the county government in Bedford County?
Yeah, you know, so it's Bedford County's a group of great people, you know, and that's one of the reasons why I decided to get involved is because the people of Bedford County deserve the best. That's the way I feel about it. It's the way that, you know, that's my home, that's my family's home, and that's probably most likely where I'll draw my last breath is in Bedford County.
Okay.
And there's a lot of good, hardworking folks there, and I believe that, you know, just like the folks of Bedford County, everybody deserves proper representation. You know,
Right.
I feel that we're sincerely, as elected officials, we're not leaders, we're servants, and quite frankly, we're employees of the people.
Yep.
And I feel like that once someone throws their name in the hat to serve, they become the eyes and ears of the constituents. And that was my hope, to be that person. I feel like that I've done that, and I'll continue to do that. It's just who I am. So, you know, on the other end of that, or the same end of that, I'm also a Christian conservative first. So,
Amen.
you know, Republican is the way that I vote, but I also believe first in Christian values, and I'm one of those that believes that this nation was founded upon the principles of Christianity by our founding fathers. And you know, unfortunately, we have drifted from that, but there are a lot of good folks across America and here in Lawrence County, Bedford County, in Tennessee that believe just like I do. And I want to be that person that helps
speak their voices and hear what they have
to second off of what Eric's saying, and he has been the real deal. He's walked the walk and talked the talk. But when you do that, guess what happens? You
get pushback.
You do. You get a lot of pushback, and you've got to be ready for that.
Yes, you
do. And it's kind of disheartening that the truth does that, but that's just the world we live in right now.
Right.
And we have to have thick skin, but we have to move forward. And that's why I chose to step up and to really be a representative of the party, and not only the party. That's not the end all be all. We've got the Constitution.
Sure.
We're America. It's a lot of people, and it saddens me where just the R, that's all you need. You're in our camp. Well, no, there's a policy issue. There are policy things that we can, and then when you try to debate those, you don't get the debate you want, because it's hard stuff to talk about.
It is.
But it's really not if it's the way it is. And if we stay more constitutionally aligned and are not afraid to really speak what our law is and what is on the books with the Constitution, with Christianity, against some of this liberal nonsense that we see every day.
Oh yeah.
That's on TVs, or if not, it's going to work its way into our counties. And I feel like we've got to guard it.
You definitely got to guard it, and I can tell you, I've contacted Eric a couple different times, and you're right, he is the real deal, because a couple times when I've contacted him, he's on the tractor. Working.
Oh, he'll be on that tractor now. He keeps it bush hogged and clean.
He is on that tractor, but when you talk about being a Republican and talking about being to the far right, let me tell you what God has to say about that. And Ecclesiastes 10:2. So I'm reading Ecclesiastes 10:2, King James Version.
All Democrats, open your Bible.
That's right. You need to open it and see it. A wise man's heart is at his right hand, but a fool is at his left. You know what? That was written by Solomon 2,500 years ago. And could it be any more true than today? Because, we haven't labeled ourselves as right or right wing. And the Democratic Party they've labeled themselves as being left and left wing.
And almost anti-American. I mean,
almost it is.
Well, you're exactly right. And that's the price, the sad part, and I guess the moral of the story is you have to catch all kinds of grief and hate just by loving your country, and just by sometimes asking a question to the establishment that does not want any questions asked.
Well, you guys come in and you start off the same way Lawrence and I would start off, with saying we are Christians first. It's
first.
God, family, country. It's kind of the way we run that order,
Right.
and it's going to be we are Christians first. That's where we have to come together first, and then further down the list, we're conservatives. We're Republican. You'll see that's on the list. It does fall in line, but we prioritize that. You know what a Democrat starts off with? They're a Democrat first, and then they let all their values fall under that.
Well, their party is what aligns their values.
Absolutely.
They don't get their values from the Bible. They let their party align their values. And any time that you let man align your values, that's when what is that saying? That God says a blind leading the blind, they both fall in the ditch.
Sure. That's what happens if I don't pray every morning. That's what happens if I don't continue to keep the faith as I live in the flesh here. We have to keep that vision alive for Christianity. We can't let stuff go anymore.
Sure.
Used to we could be apathetic and we could just, we should have never, but that's the way we handle things. Now we have to stand up, and I encourage anybody who's got that feeling now to step up, and because this is our country, and if you look around, not only the country but the world, things aren't looking good.
No, they're not.
Wars, rumors of wars. I mean, does that all sound familiar? I mean, it's happening. We're here in the now, and we can we can choose to stay at home and sit back and just watch it go by, or we can do something about it.
Well, how are you guys doing as far as bringing in people willing to run for office, or bringing people in? I mean, what do you find out there? I mean, tell me a little bit about your experience.
Well, my experience so far in that is a lot of no promises. They're not guaranteed that they're going to run, but a lot of people that have some good ideas.
Mm-hmm.
But I am running into problems with getting a good candidate. You just don't want any candidate.
Sure.
I use the illusion of getting a pole in the water, and then all of a sudden they all bite at the same time. You want to get that quality candidate.
Sure.
And I believe that is it takes meticulous effort, surgical type precision, and to keep to keep on the ball and to get those candidates. Right now, our next big election's coming up in 2026. You know, you don't start a year before; you start now.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it can be disheartening, but you don't let it be disheartening.
Right.
To get all the no's, and because some of the best people that should run, they don't want any part of it.
So it's like what Eric told me. You actually had to tackle him off the tractor to get him to run.
Yeah. If you had to drag him off to get him, he didn't want this. You know, it's
none of us did.
No,
though.
none of us. I wouldn't have ever believed that I would be where I am at this moment just a few years ago. But I did. I've always had that burn in me, but I just couldn't sit still any longer. And to get a man like Eric Maddox to really put his to put everything out there and to just stand firm on who he is and taking all of the grief that he has taken, that shows a man's character there. And I wish we had more of them. So if there are some, come to Bedford County. We could use your help there. But
I will let you respond to that, Eric.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, Bo. And I've seen Bo stand up and take some hits too, and I appreciate that as well. Matter of fact, I saw him take his heaviest hits defending something that I did at a county level, which was try to decrease the tax rate for our county. But overall, I believe that apathy runs deep, and I know that you guys have heard me talk about that. But the apathy does run deep, and across the nation, and also at a county level. But I also believe that one of the ways to decrease or erase that apathy is simply to provide accountability. I think accountability somewhat erases the apathy. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is you've got a group of people out there that, that like me, when someone, I would have thought that, if someone is elected to office and that person is either they're either capable of doing the job, I can just leave them alone, right? No accountability. Or, that person that's elected to office, they know what they're doing, and again, no accountability, but more so, that apathy is a dangerous thing. And I think with more accountability, it helps erase the apathy because, for me, that's what I started to see is like, when people started to be held more accountable, they were held accountable because there were things that were brewing in the county, and people became more aware, right? So,
unfortunately, that's when it happens. Is when there are the big issues, and then when there's nothing,
right?
They stay at home. But that's when the big issues that you should be paying attention
get slipped under the rug.
Yeah, they get slipped under the rug.
Well, you mentioned it, so I'm gonna bounce off of it, and I didn't know you were actually going to say exactly what you said. We don't try to set the show up. We want it to flow as we come in, and we bring people in that are they're heartfelt, they're genuine, and hey, let's bring the ideas together and let's really talk about it. So it shows a little bit raw on its edge. But I have the word. I'd actually looked up a word here, and it was already on my phone, so I didn't have to key it in. But I looked it up before this show, before we'd even talked, because something been on my mind today, and I want to address something that I face it as a county party chairman, and Lawrence is the secretary. You're a county commissioner. We're trying to pull these people in. We're trying to get people involved. Apathy. I pulled it up on my laptop here just now, and just I was like, what's the exact definition? It's just lack of interest, lack of enthusiasm, or lack of concern.
Yeah.
And that is part of it. But you said, Bo, we have people and there'll be great candidates and they won't run for office. You can't get them to run for office.
Yeah.
But isn't it amazing how you can get the wrong candidate and they'll run? And you're like, you don't need the right. They're definitely the wrong candidate. Okay. And I'm gonna touch on this. Let me finish this thought and I'll let you have it, Lawrence. But I looked this word up because it hit me earlier today, and I'm going to tell you why the perfect candidate will not run for office. You look at them, you're like, you got this. You could do it. We're behind you. We're going to give you support. We've offered as a Republican Party, we'll send out mailers. I'll teach you. We'll give you radio time. And we're trying to draw people in to run. And you see people, and you're like, wow, that person will be perfect. And I'm going to say what it is. And I'm live on the radio, so here it comes. That person will not allow themselves to be humbled. And I'm going to tell you what the definition of humble is low estimate of one's own importance. And you look at them and you say, you're a perfect candidate. Why won't you run for office? And they're like, I just don't have time. Mm-hmm. I've got this going on or that going on. And it's like, okay, you do have a lot of stuff. Who doesn't? Okay, you're not the Lone Ranger on that one. We all have schedules that are just crazy. We all are having to cut in on time to figure out how we're going to get here on Wednesday to do a radio show.
Right.
Okay? But you have to allow yourself as a person, when you are that person and you would make a great candidate, they will not say, okay, I'll be humbled and I'm going to say what's important to me is going to have to take the back seat or I'm going to put it on the shelf. And that's tough. But so I'm going to flip this over on you. I'm going to flip the script over. And you know what the opposite or the antonym of humble is, okay? The antonym of humble is proud, overbearing, noble. Listen to these words, okay? They want to be recognized, the upper crust, all right? So what do you see run for office? What do you see end up running for office? The opposite of humble starts getting involved, and they want to be considered noble. They want to be considered, oh, look at me, I'm important. And we're around a lot of elected officials, Lawrence. I mean, we're around a lot. And I mean, even some of the best ones that I really love, and I know a lot of them, and I'm not picking on them, but still they love that attention. And it's exactly, you're thinking about this person would run because they wanted the attention. Another person wouldn't run because they don't really want the attention, but yet they won't be humbled.
Humility is a sign of strength. And a lot of people take that as weakness, but a real man can be humble, and a real man can say, look, I was wrong. And to go back to apathy, I mean, it says it in the root word, pathetic, apathetic.
Yep.
A pathetic individual can have apathy.
Yep.
You can use it in that sense if you'd like to.
Well, I want to let Lawrence finish his thought, but there was a second part to that apathy speech I was going to.
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, you know, I was dancing around it, but I'm going to go ahead and dive in. It's just the way I roll, right? So, you know, part of the reason too, reason for the apathy is people get the mindset of, well, no matter what I do or say, those people up there, wherever up there is, they're going to do.
Towers.
Yeah, they're going to do whatever they're going to do anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing that I'm going to be able to do to stop that. And that is a false perception. And
Amen.
And
Preach.
we need to get those people. That's the way. You know, I was apathetic for a while. You know, we need to get people like me that was, you know, what do we call the silent majority? Christian values, you know, but I was one of those people that said, you know what, those people either know what they're doing or whatever I say is not going to matter. They're going to do what they're going to do anyway. And that's when I've jumped in feet first. I don't mind saying this. Everybody in Bedford County knows it. I've jumped in and said, you know what? No, not so much.
And what have you found out that with your assumption that everybody knows what's going on in the government? What have you found out?
That they don't.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now let me say this publicly. There are some amazing folks in Bedford County that's in government.
Yes,
there are.
Yeah, we're not crucifying Bedford County.
We're not.
We've got some great people
and they're
there.
dedicated people. And matter of fact, I won't name names here, good, bad, or indifferent, but there are some amazing folks that are in county government that are doing great things. I also know that just like in every other maybe county, I don't know, there is a system, right? Yep. And maybe it's, you know, we've done it this way our whole life, or this is, you know, this benefits this person, this whatever. But, you know, we as a people need to take our country back.
Amen.
And that's where I sit.
And thank God for those elected officials such as yourself. You've allowed yourself to be humbled. You've taken the heat. You could be somewhere tonight. You have family. You have an awesome farm out there you live on. There are a lot of other things that you could be doing that would be of more importance to you. But you've allowed yourself to say, you know what, I'm going to take a back seat. And so in this conversation, I'm hoping if somebody's listening out there, hears this show, it's like, you know what, to actually get involved, you have to look at your schedule and you got to say, I'm going to reorganize my schedule and I'm going to make myself number two, not number one. The sacrifice will have to come.
And you know, there's a lot of people who sacrifice their lives for this country. They can't speak anymore. And I like to think that when I'm representing or when I'm trying to stand firm on something that's dear to me, that I'm representing those that have fought and actually went to a war and have died for our freedom that we just think that was God-given.
Yep.
People don't understand how important that is and how much that touches my heart. I didn't serve in the Army or any type of Marines, anything, but I have the utmost respect for those that did. And if someone's willing to give their life for their freedom, then we can at least give some time. And
That's right.
I encourage everyone that would like to or is thinking about that to get involved in some way. You know, it started for me being in a planning commission, in Shelbyville Planning Commission, which I'm still on. I'm currently vice chairman.
Yep.
And that's kind of where I got, you know, into the kind of the city government there, or just introduced into government. But it was something. It was just something. And I took it and I ran. And I've just kind of been around ever since. And here I am in Lawrenceburg now at this wonderful place.
Sitting here with Lawrence Sutton in Lawrenceburg,
That's
Tennessee,
right.
Lawrence County.
Lawrence is all around me at the moment.
That's right.
What say you, Lawrence?
I mean, just everybody know that I'm actually from Florida, so it wasn't like I was named for here.
I thought you were named. It was named for you. I didn't know.
No, not for me. But you know, Brandon.
His real name's Orlando. That's Orlando Sutton right there.
That's great.
Hey, I received a nickname tonight. I mean, you know, I'm just.
It's Orlando and Mad Dog in the studio, baby.
Sounds like a show. Sounds like a new show.
It does. Something's going to happen here.
But no, Brandon hit it perfectly. You know, with a lot, and I'm not going to say all, you know, because you don't want to do that. But with a lot of the our politicians that I have seen, I've seen that they want that attention, and that's the reason why they're doing it. They're not doing it to serve. They're doing it because look at me, and I will say that for us, and I will name names. We have very good, humble servants.
Yeah, we do.
Our sheriff, John Myers, very humble, good man. Our county executive, David Morgan, you know, very humble man. Tommy Lee Kidd, I mean, you know, Mr. Brewer, you know,
Russ Brewer.
I mean, we can just keep going on and down the line, you know.
Brady Hutton.
Yep. You know, we have very good leaders that have put themselves back.
A lot of good county commissioners.
A lot of good county
I
commissioners.
don't want to leave them out.
We do. There's some, though, that need to go.
Yep.
Okay, I'm just going to say it. There's some needs to go.
Yep.
But we do have some good county commissioners. I mean, when we went up to Nashville when we had the special session.
Yep.
We had 8 elected officials go with us. And I'm going to tell you something, you know, that right there is powerful. When our own elected officials went up there and stood behind and stood with their constituents that felt that this was important, so it was important to them.
True leadership.
Yes.
True leadership.
Yeah. And I'll say to your point, a lot of folks don't realize too that, you know, the people that get involved in government, it's really a small group, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people. I was amazed that the amount of folks within the county that thought that it was just some big old operation, and it's really not. It's all the elected officials, and then, you know, there's a small amount of the population that actually gets involved in government. Now you move that to a state level, and it's the same way, right? It's maybe a little bigger, right? But you know.
Even the federal government runs a small crew.
Yeah.
And involvement.
I wish it was a lot smaller, though. I'm just going to tell you, the alphabet agencies, they can go.
Limited governments is a key to the platform of a conservative or Republican party. But not only do we, you know what? I just lost my train of thought there for a minute. I'm sorry.
Well, we do want the small platform government. We want smaller government, and even you mentioned agencies, all these different 3-letter alphabet agencies. You know, there's more agencies than there is elected officials.
Well, not only that, you know, the thing is that when you're dealing with a bureaucrat, you can't fire a bureaucrat at the voting booth.
That's right.
Yeah. And these people, they get a job, and they are starting to. Our bureaucrat system is starting to wield more power than our actual elected officials are.
That's their plan.
And that is their plan.
That's the way to power with them. But we can, you know, the ones that do make those decisions. You know, we do have a right in elections there, but you're right. Once they're in, and if they're putting people in these seats or these positions, you know, a lot of times they're there. But what I was going to say, is when we say involve, get involved, you might think people might think, well, I got to run for something or I got to fill an office. No,
right.
You just go to a meeting. Go to a meeting.
That's right.
Go to any meeting. You can go to the small committee meetings or just be there.
You're 100%
involved.
correct.
You're involved then. So that's all it takes. So I encourage people. And nowadays, I don't know about Lawrence County, but in Bedford County, we've got a great IT department there that stream all of the county meetings. So there's more transparency there. And I just tip my hat to that. So, there's no more excuses for being involved. I'm a type of guy that likes to come. I like to be there present. I'm a in person, look at your eyes, guys. But, I think that just involvement, just to kind of summarize what I'm saying, is just showing up, is being involved, being there for the smallest meeting, the quickest meeting to the longest.
Right.
So I want to bring up something, because you guys were bringing in so much revenue that you were looking to actually cut taxes. And from my understanding, Bedford County has had some pretty big growth here lately. How were you guys able to do that? Because we're here in Lawrence County right now, and we're starting to get the overflow from Murray County is starting to come in here. And we're sitting here looking at with like deer in our headlights going, how are we going to pay for all this new infrastructure that's coming in? But I know that you guys have had some tremendous growth here lately. So how are you guys managing that?
That's a good question. I think how we manage the growth is an everyday conversation, because we're sitting at 51,000 people growing. We're growing every day. As far as the budget goes, I won't get into the weeds there. That'd be more than an hour-long show. But the way that I was able to propose a tax decrease for the county was through basically how the county is managing their finances. Most counties have a general fund, and then they have debt services.
Right, correct.
So we calculated that we only needed about $9.4 million to operate out of debt services, and that account as of today is at $39 million. So we could have very easily have moved some money over to the general fund account and decrease the amount of taxes that people are paying.
Well, and we've had some conversations. I mean, Brandon and I have with some of our elected officials, about some of the same things. And one of the things, and I have a investment banking background, and I'm going to tell you the 800-pound gorilla in the room that is going to be staring at you guys directly here very soon, and with a lot of the counties, is the fact of what has happened with the Fed and the interest rates over the last couple of years. Do you know that we've had the largest rate increase interest rates in the last 2 years in the history of the United States?
Oh, yeah.
We have gone up 4.88% on our interest rates.
And we're not seeing that yet.
We're not seeing it yet. And so I will say this. Right now, a lot of the counties are starting to create an arbitrage. And an arbitrage is when, so people understand this, is when you're sitting with your investments now that you're getting, and you go buy a bond that's paying you 5 or 6%, but your debt service, the debt that you're holding because you have got that debt when interest rates were lower, is only 1 or 2%. So we're seeing counties right now that are having a 3%, and some of these counties are actually creating a 3, 4, 5, $10 million of income just off of servicing their debt. But I'm going to tell you, it's
the bubble's going to pop.
The bubble is going to pop, and when it does, it's going to be ugly.
And the growth you mentioned from Maury County, or is that what you said?
Yeah, Maury County, yeah.
We have it from
Williamson
Murfreesboro.
County.
We have
Right.
it from Rutherford County. It comes from Nashville, and then it just trickles on. We also have Huntsville in between us, in between Bedford County. But we're having a lot of growth from people from California, a lot of people from New York that I've met that are involved in the Republican Party that are just guys like us.
Yep.
And they're coming in with cash, and they're able to buy a nice farm, and they sell a little house in California. And so the interest rates aren't affecting them on a personal, on a level. I'm a real estate appraiser during the day. That's my day job.
Yeah.
So I see a lot of that.
It's Batman by night.
And Batman by night. Don't tell anybody. The secret's out. But we're not, as far as the interest rates affecting people personally, I think that'll start. Well, it already is. It affects us personally. The gas prices, it's interesting how the gas prices have kind of come down a little bit. I think that's a little falsity coming from the top.
It's very weird with the Middle East war.
Yes.
It's
Well,
very unusual.
a little bit posturing.
I'm going to tell you this, and this is just my opinion on this, but what a lot of people, if they're not paying attention, Saudi Arabia, which is part of OPEC, and OPEC is a part of the nations that control the oil output. Saudi Arabia cannot stand the Biden administration. And I tell you what they're doing, and
I have something in common with Saudi Arabia.
Yeah,
I think I do too.
I figured it out.
Who'd ever thought that we'd have something in common with Saudi Arabia?
I don't know.
But I'm going to tell you, I would think, look out, come next summer, you're going to see OPEC shutting it down because they do not want the Biden administration anymore controlling America. They want him out.
They
as
did
bad
a lot
as
better
we
with
did.
Trump.
Well,
no
that's
doubt.
what happened before Trump came in. It was real high, and then when he came in, he got. Well, first of all, we are energy independent.
That's
we
correct.
need to have some independence from the Middle East. I mean, we see what's going on over there. We see that, do we want to deal with terrorists? Do we not? I'm not saying that everybody's bad over there, but I am saying that that's where it comes from. And when we're energy independent, the fracking that brought down the gas prices back 10 years ago, that was booming, and that stopped too. That was a way to produce energy, and then tag along that with the Green Deal. They're wanting to make us, drive a electric car. I want that to be my choice. I don't want to be told that I have to do that. And I think that that's another incentive for people. They want to raise the prices where, you get your electric car, but people don't understand the problem. I'm not saying that the electric cars are bad, they're good, but just don't tell me I have to do it.
Well, the big thing about an electric car for me, and I'll just tell you, I like to get in my car, and if I want to, let's say, drive to Florida, I can get in that car and drive to Florida and stop and get gas once or twice. That electric car, I got to stop, and then I got to sit there and let it charge for 5, 6, 8 hours for me to keep going, and it only lasts every 300 miles. I have a theory, and I'm one of these conspiracy theorists, and I really believe that they're pushing the electric cars because if they push the electric car, they have now limited our ability to travel. And that's one of the things that I look at, the ability to travel. And
you don't want to go in a cold atmosphere with those batteries either.
No, well, you don't. Not only that, we do not have the infrastructure to even handle everybody having an electrical car. Even here in Tennessee, we cannot handle everybody having an electrical car.
The liberal concept on that is that, well, since it's electricity, there's no fossil fuels involved. And that's the most lunacy that I've ever heard. You ever heard of coal? You ever heard of that? But that's the mindset that we're at.
Well, but
that's what they believe, and they're hearing it from people that actually believe that. When the truth is that if they were all electric, then I would say that we would use more fossil fuels.
We would absolutely use more fossil fuels, just like with ethanol. It takes 3 gallons of gas to make 1 gallon of ethanol. So we can mix it in our vehicles, and Eric, you know what I'm talking about here. You want to mess up a good lawnmower, you want to mess up a tractor, you want to mess up your chainsaw. Start putting some ethanol gas in it and see how long that machinery lasts.
Yeah, gum it up pretty quick. No, I agree. I mean, but guys, here we are talking about all the issues, but I think we're all searching for that silver bullet. I mean, how do we change it? I mean,
get involved like we're doing.
We have to get involved.
We get involved. If we don't get involved, if we don't collectively, talk, maybe disagree, agree, but if we're going to agree on most things, but we have to be together. It takes numbers. There's power in numbers, and we can all, I have great ideas. Eric has great ideas. Brandon, Lawrence, and then when you put those together, even on a bigger basis, it just creates more. It creates more success, more potential solutions to the problem.
Let me springboard off of that because you guys have got a show that you're putting on, and it's Bedford County Live.
That's right.
And I've met David Thomas, great guy. He's not the
ShelbyvilleNow.com.
founder of Wendy's, but
he's not the founder of Wendy's, but he runs ShelbyvilleNow.com.
Yeah, so give a little shout out about it's ShelbyvilleNow.com. When can they find that live on a live stream?
We go live on Monday nights at 8:30 p.m. Every now and then we have special times, and we'll be having that soon. But you can go to ShelbyvilleNow.com. What we do is we have weather, local news, obituaries, crime reports, real estate transfers. But we're kind of trying to be like the paper without the paper, and it's free. The platform is free. It's there's no pay. We are run by the sponsorship, and that's what we're looking for. Yeah. But we do a show. It's live. We talk about local politics. We talk about state politics, just
football.
Issues.
I've heard everything.
It's the people's show, is what we call. It's the people's show. We want and it's listener or watcher involved, however you're watching, and then you can ask questions or say, look, this is what we're seeing, and we want to talk about that. We want to be not just what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We want to be what they're talking about, and we want to open it up to everybody. I've had the city mayor, the city manager, I've had several people at the county say, hey, we love what y'all are doing.
It's a good show.
Getting it out. So we're trying our best. We're doing what we can do. We've got a good Mr. Producer. I can't reveal who that is, but it's a wonderful.
It's Mad Dog Maddox, is what I've heard.
It might be. I don't know.
Eric the Mad Dog Maddox.
Mad Dog. It just comes off so great. I love it.
Makes me want to get a tattoo. You know what I'm saying?
He can't come into Lawrence County anymore. It's Mad Dog Maddox.
It's Mad Dog. I love it, and that's good. So he's producing y'all's shows. So if Lord doesn't ship up over there, we might have to bring in the Mad Dog to produce our shows.
Yeah, don't get the Mad Dog route up. That's all I gotta say. I'm just saying.
Mad Dog Maddox.
That's right.
But I had a chance to meet David Thomas, a great guy, and looking forward to being. So I'm going to be over there on your show on Monday.
That's right.
Going to be in there with you guys, and then also we're going to do a simulcast hopefully next Wednesday with you guys, and so you'll be in studio there. We'll be in studio here. Let's get something going. Let's bring it together. Like we said, those are getting involved, and I think this is going to snowball, and it is snowballing across the state of Tennessee to see folks that want to be involved in. We don't feel like we're alone, and it gives you that enthusiasm that's lacking, Eric.
It's grassroots. It's raw. There's no script here. We're talking about what's affecting us every day. There's nobody feeding us. Well, you got to talk about this. This is it. It's coming from the mouth right here. It's coming from us individually. But yeah, you go to we stream this live every Monday at 8:30. It's on ShelbyvilleNow.com. You can also check us out on Facebook at Shelbyville Now. Just come check us out. I know a lot maybe not affecting you in Shelbyville, but we do talk about topics, and we try to inspire, things as far as getting involved. I mean, we beat the drum, but a good teacher, I have learned, a good teacher is repetitive. And if you repeat, you got to just sometimes just keep repeating the same old things, and maybe it'll sink in. So
well, but
thanks for mentioning that.
I got to give a plug to our show. So if you're listening right now and you're out there, we need you to subscribe. Hit that subscribe button, and even if you don't like it, go ahead and hit the like button. You'll learn to like it. You'll learn to love it. Like it first.
Yep. Comment. We love the comments.
Also share it. Send it to that favorite liberal family member you have. It'll make great conversation at Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's coming up.
To listen. And hate listening is alive and well, and we love it. We accept it. We would like to even talk.
I would love to get liberals in the studio, and I promise you, I'll make Lawrence sit there and be quiet. He'll have to look at you.
You can't do that. You can't do that.
Hey, listen.
I'll make him wait and look through the window back there in that door. He can just peek through the back.
Hang on, I'm going to tell you what he did one time. So when we were up there,
story time's over, Lawrence. Thank you so much for coming in.
Yeah, we're at the special session, okay, and the Moms Demand Action cornered him. And I guess, we were up there in suits, so I guess they thought we were legislators. So I'm sitting in Kip Capley's office talking to Kip's guy, and Brandon comes over and he grabs me. He goes, hey, come on. So we go, and we had John Harper was with us.
The great John Harper.
Great John Harper, and he was videoing a lot of the stuff that we were doing and sending it out to Facebook Live and stuff. So he gets me, to talk to these liberals. Why? I do not know. So we get in there and we're sitting down there, and I kid you not, we're talking to him and we're asking him questions. Brandon, he's really relaxed and everything. And me, I'm ready to go.
His entire head was red.
I'm ready to go here. and we're starting to talk facts. Well, liberal cannot deal with facts. And I have a tough time with that because that's what I deal in. I deal in facts. So after maybe 5 minutes, they had enough of facts, and they could not verbalize why they were even there. They
run out of bullets, they throw the gun at you.
Well, they didn't even have that.
Name calling is what they revert to.
Yes.
Exactly.
But these women, they finally, and I thought the lady was about to cry. And she sits there and she has her Mom Demands Action shirt on. She does this. She's holding her shirt like this, and she's like, you don't understand. Me having this shirt on, I can be shot wearing this shirt. And I look at her and I go, oh, you can't discuss facts. Have I triggered you?
They need a safe space. That's
what I said. And I said, this is your safe space. Well, he's wanting to talk more. He gets mad at me. He goes, Lawrence, shut up.
Well, we have to have conversations, and those are difficult conversations.
They are.
But we have to stand up to those conversations, and we have to articulate them well. You know, like you said, they're gonna just, once they're done with what they say, then here comes the insults. But we have to take them and just know that that we know what we're talking about is true.
Yep.
And
They couldn't handle the truth.
The feeling part, they live off of feelings.
Yep.
Yes.
Raw
And they
emotion.
go off of feeling, all emotion, and it's hard for us to understand. But, not to discount the lives that are lost off of gun violence and things. It's the person behind the gun. I've been around a few guns in my life, and I've never seen one take off and walk. Never seen one take off and shoot. But there needs to be responsible gun ownership. I will continue to say that. If you're going to handle something like a gun or anything, say a dangerous tool, you need to be trained on it. You need to know what you got in your hands. And I think that's where the conversation needs to go, mental health and things like that. But that side really, you mentioned the word, it's scared to death.
Well, you know what? And you brought up mental health, and I'm going to tell you, here's the problem with bringing mental health in with gun control, is people like us eventually are going to be deemed as being incompetent because we actually believe that God came down as man, died on a cross, was born of a virgin, rose 3 days later. We're going to be looked at as being crazy.
Well, we all get a little mad and stuff every now and then, so we have to be able to not let the government get involved in the mental health aspect.
That's
we
right.
have to have strong police like y'all have here in Lawrence County.
Yes,
we
got
have in
the
Bedford
greatest
County,
sheriff.
and we have to have. You got to pay the price.
Yep.
And that's just it. Even if you make a life decision that changes your life in 1 second, you're going to have to pay the penalty, and we need to be strong.
We need to be strong on that, but I am as about a strong Second Amendment as it gets, and I'm going to bring up another fact here, and one of the facts that we have is what happened in Israel. Okay, and most people don't realize, they think every Israeli has a gun. No, only 2.5% of the population has a gun. So how was it then that Hamas was able to come over, drag people out of their homes, shoot, kill them, rape them, steal them, kidnap them, because only 2.5% had the guns? So what does the police do? The police show up with body bags.
And
That's what
what
the
got
police
me
do.
about that is a lot of those people were in safe rooms.
They were
in a safe room.
You're not safe unless you can defend yourself against fire.
They couldn't fortify it enough.
So, but here comes another thing. Who has the most secure border in the world? Israel does. They cross that border. Look at our border. We have the least secure border.
Are you saying our border's not secure?
Hang on. I'm getting off
Wait
topic.
a second. This is breaking news here.
Hang on. I'm getting off topic here because here's the thing. How is it then, if we have the most secure border in the world and we have a country that has one of the strictest gun control laws, how was it that Hamas was able to get all these guns to begin with? I'm seeing M4s, okay? M4s that had to come from Afghanistan because strictly AK-47s are over there.
You said it. It's
all
Afghanistan.
Right? And these M4s, I'm seeing M4s in these terrorists' hands, not AK-47s. And they have come from Afghanistan.
And not only that, big boy weapons, anti-aircraft.
But again, this is why the Second Amendment and not doing anything at all with that, because Israel already had one of the strongest gun laws in the world, but yet Hamas was able to get it, and they were able to get these guns through the most secure border in the world.
And then you then tag along that with the propaganda and the false and the fake news. That it's running rampant. That this track that Israel's causing all this issue. We know pretty well who the aggressor is in this situation.
We do, and you know what? And I will say this: the media, for the most part, has been saying that, which has actually shocked me. But I'm going to bring up another, just real quick, another aspect. When we're talking only 2.5% of Israelis owning guns, that's a handgun. Israelis aren't allowed to own a rifle.
The home of the Uzi. It wasn't the Uzi. The Uzi was
General Uzi. Let me give you something here. General Uzi.
Gun talk.
Okay.
Welcome.
Yeah.
General Uzi was who stopped the taking of the Temple Mount in 67. General Uzi is saying, no, we are not going to take the Temple Mount. It is not ours to take. We're going to leave it to the
That's exactly
Muslims.
what he says.
That was General Uzi that said that.
They won't do it this time.
And I'm going to tell you.
It's going to change this time.
Okay, here again, and me and Brandon, we have talked about this.
Oh, we're on a rabbit trail now.
We're on a rabbit trail now. It is our belief, and we've talked about it, that one of the reasons why either they are extremely incompetent or they let this happen. Because they know when a cockroach crosses over that border. And I think it is going to lead to the taking of the Temple Mount and the building of the third temple.
You know, they watch that border so intently.
Yeah.
That they have a system that when a rocket takes off out of Gaza, they've got a system that's
Iron
watching
Dome.
that.
The Iron Dome.
The Iron Dome knocks it down, but not only does it do that, it's watching it so much, it pinpoints and immediately fires a rocket and returns fire
Where
to,
that rocket
to the ignition point of where that rocket took off. That's how close they're watching that border.
Yeah, it
automatically does it.
Yeah, and that's you kind of hit something there. I mean, it does sound a little strange because they do watch their border like crazy, and
They do.
And what do? We don't. So I mean, when are we going to beef up that security?
We had 20,000 Chinese men national crossover that we know of in the southern border, and it's real easy for Chinese people to get a visa to get over here. Why did they have to sneak over? And why were they men? It's not families coming over here.
You're either
It was
not allowed or
military
you're-
age
yeah.
men
So
that
are
were
you
coming
saying
over
this,
here.
this Democrat president that we have right now, let me get this straight, Lawrence. Let's get this really straight.
Yeah.
This Democrat president that we have in office right now, I bet Democrats don't know this. They wouldn't vote for him again if they find this out. This is a news flash. Send this to your favorite Democrat as soon as possible. This Democrat president would rather a terrorist have an assault rifle than an American citizen.
Amen. Look what happened in
This is
Israel.
a
And he would
newsflash.
Look
rather-
at what happened in Israel. Why do you think they're trying to take our guns? I'm going to tell you another thing. You go look at the Democratic platform.
Yep.
Go look at and read the Democratic platform. It's out of Bill Lee's playbook of the 18 points that they were wanting for the special session.
And most of these people against the walls probably have a wall around their house.
Yeah.
Just for the record.
It's raw, passionate radio right here, folks.
Hey, and again, I'm sorry to go off on a tangent on this. Is just pouring out. But Bill Lee was appointed by Joe Biden to the special governor session.
He
And you
is.
know who else is in there? Gavin Newsom. You know who else is in there? Is that crazy lady out of New Mexico, that Lou Shawn or whatever her name is.
Yep.
Do you see a pattern here when it comes to
Gretchen.
guns?
Yeah, but let me
Gretchen
ask you-
Whitmer's on there too.
I'm gonna give Lawrence a breath. Man, I like that passion. That's good, and he's right. But let me ask all of us this question: why did we get to where we are today?
Church house.
You're
It's the
exactly
church.
right. We took, and we're trying to take God out of our.
Yeah, we've taken it out of the schools, most part. We've taken it, taken it out of the public. We've actually made it almost a butt of a joke in regular popular media or entertainment, and that's what it's looked at when it's really the only thing that will give you peace and the only way to guarantee eternal life, and that is exactly right, Mr. Maddox, for hitting the nail on the head. The church out of the public. The church is almost is considered the enemy.
Well, you got to think that's right, Bo. So I mean, you got to think of it this way, right? So we were founded as a Christian nation, and there's a lot of things that go along with that. So being a Christian means a lot of things. It means values. It means hard work. It means respect. And all of those things have slowly eroded as we've tried to take God out of our nation. And if I didn't do anything else tonight, guys, I brought my King James Bible with me.
Mad dog, preach, mad dog.
Yeah. And I want to read something out of
read it.
out of the book of Chronicles, 2 Chronicles. And we all know the way to fix this is to be more bold and to stand up.
Humble ourselves. I know
That's
where you're
right.
going.
You know what? And just to read it here, it says, "If my people, which are called by my name, shall humble themselves and pray, and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven, will forgive their sin, and will heal their land."
Will you read the next verse?
"Now mine eyes shall be open, and my ears attend unto the prayer that is made in this place." When I look at the whole ball of wax, I really feel that the number one way for us to regain control is for us to be more bold about our Christian beliefs and to hold each other accountable to do more. And
just like you said in 2 Timothy 1:12, you know, I'm not ashamed for who I believe because I know who I believe in.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. And listen, I get I get fighting mad a lot.
Fastest hour in radio.
Yeah, when I see things happen, and you know what? One thing I'm not going to stop doing is I'm not going to stop praying, and I'm not going to stop standing up for what I know is right. And while I'm elected, I'm going to be the voice in the ears of the people that I serve, not lead, but I serve.
He serves.
Well, I'll tell you real quick. Friday, I'm going to be going over Psalm 83 and the Psalm 83 war, and tying into what's going on. So everybody listening, I'm going to be bringing it Friday.
May I say just for a second, Lawrence County, y'all have a great two guys here that are passionate about what they do, and I just want to thank them not only for having us here, but for having a voice and for telling the truth.
That's true.
Right here.
Thank you.
You've got a gym here in Lawrence County, so just know what you got here.
Thank you for that. Those kind words, and so does Bedford County. Yes. I want to give a quick shout out to for Jody Barrett. He's going to have several events. State Representative Jody Barrett on November 2nd. He's going to have an event, and our guest speaker for all these events is going to be none other than Mr. John Rich. And so November 2nd, Hickman County Veterans Memorial Park, 5:30 p.m. No, I'm sorry. November 3rd will be Hickman County's Veterans Memorial Park. November 2nd will be High Forest Arms in Hohenwald. And November 7th will be Greystone Golf Course in Dixon, Tennessee. Mr. Jody Barrett, State Representative, is going to have an event. John Rich will be guest speaker. Thank you again. Give us a shout out to what your Facebook page is again.
Shelby, well, you can see us on the. I'm Republican Republican Party chairman. You can go to Bedford County Republican Party on Facebook. We also have a website. It's bedfordgop.org. And on the Shelbyville Now side, we've got shelbyvillenow.com. Awesome. You can watch our show Monday nights at 8:30. It's live, and you can find us on Facebook at Shelbyville Now.
And Bo will be our guest speaker on October 24th, 6 p.m. Lawrence County Courthouse. Be ready. Thank you, Eric. You're a good friend of mine. Appreciate you, Bo. You're awesome. Lawrence, always fun in here in the studio.
This is
God bless
WDXE,
everybody.
W287 AA and W230.